Oh, I got a good one. I got a good one. I thought it looked good. Even though it was small, I opened it up and put it all in this bowl, but a durian. Well, sometimes I've gotten not too good of ones, but I sensed this one was good and smelt it, and it was opening up a little bit. And sometimes they're so frozen I can't even get a sense from them. But this one I did, and I'm happy I did. This one is just remarkable. Oh, small. Like this big of a durian. I've done, in my experience, sometimes the smaller fruit or medium-sized fruit is much better than the huge size of whatever fruit you're dealing with. In this case in point here, this one's awesome. Oh, I don't have durians often. When I do, I make videos about them sometimes, I guess. I don't know, this will be my second durian video, I think. The first one I made when I first had one a couple years back. But this is really a remarkably good one. Now, if you, some that never tried one, that first experience took some getting used to, but you get a real good one, I mean, it's just remarkable. It's creamy, sweet, like custard. It don't smell that much. A little bit. But you get used to that. But if you get a junky one, they're really not that good. I've had a few I've had to throw away. A couple times got my money back. But and they're kind of expensive, so I mean, just this little one where I live here in Chicago came out to be $10. I think $10, maybe more. Oh, they're not cheap. They're really good. It's a treat to have one once in a while. I've never been out of the country. I've been to Mexico once. I'm not going to say I've never been out of the country. But I have yet to be to Thailand or somewhere where I could get these. Well, that must be amazing. To get real fresh ones. Well, high in fat, high in sugars, not something I'd want to eat all the time because of the high fat content. No. On occasion, I'll have one. Open up the window, let the sun shine in. Oh man, that feels good. Well, it's February in Chicago. It's been a mild winter, but it's been gray like winters are, and it's been cold, but mild compared to some winters. But still, I want to get that sun, and when it comes out, and today it warmed up to about 30, maybe almost 40. It was real nice going for a run. Not quite warm enough to go, no shirt and shorts, but maybe this week. I think it's supposed to get up to 50 tomorrow. I'd get away with it. If it's sunny out, I will. But even 30 degrees at this time of year, it starts to feel alright. It's like, oh, 30 degrees, that's not too bad. But just enjoying this. Really good. I don't know if I'll be able to finish it all. Maybe. It tastes so good. I eat it till I'm full. That's for sure. I ran about 6-7 miles today. I think 6 something. So I don't know how many calories. Probably a lot of calories in this, but I'm not concerned. I rarely concern myself with calories. I would like to start keeping track of them, just because what I've noticed in myself throughout the years of eating fruit-based and from fasting and stuff, I've become quite more efficient, I think. Because sometimes, you know, come summer, last year, specifically last year, I ran sometimes really quite a bit of miles, and I don't even think I had close to the amount of calories they say you need. And yet I felt fine, so I think I'm going to do that this year. I usually start ramping my miles up in spring, and last year I had some big miles. I had a couple 100-mile weeks, I think, and that's, you know, I felt great. Not like sore or nothing after a 100-mile week. Last year I ran an at-home marathon. By at home, I mean I just went outside and ran 26, actually 28 miles. Remarkably, the next day I felt perfectly fine. I was able to go run again. I don't know if I did or didn't, but I mean I was walking around fine. It kind of amazed me, because when I've actually ran in the 6 or so marathons that I have, it's always very sore the next day, you know, barely walk or whatever. Granted, I didn't try to do this too fast when I did my at-home marathon. It was the slowest marathon I've ever ran, but still, to feel fine the next day, I was kind of amazed. But back to the thing of calories, I had a few watermelons. A watermelon? I don't know. I know I had some watermelons at the time. I'm not sure exactly what else, but I mean, it wasn't that much calories. And yet, it was fine. So, I'm going to look into that more with myself and test it out, especially now that I'm even more so sticking to 100% fully raw. Committed to doing that this year. Last year was my best year. I mean, out of 7 years I've been at this, last year, I mean, I would go months, like 3 months at a time. You know, eat a little cooked, and even though when I was eating cooked, it wasn't all the time. I'd eat a meal here and a meal there. Sometimes got on a little bad pattern, but there was fruit in those days every day. I don't think in the last 7 years I've, maybe once or twice in those first few years, I didn't have fruit for breakfast, because I'm just used to it. I know I feel the best on the fruit. It took a long time for me to work out everything to get to the point where I'm at with it. You know, cooked food is a hell of a drug. I don't think, of all things, alcohol, which I did for over 2 decades, smoked cigarettes for over 2 decades, and you know, that was tough. Alcohol was tough. Cigarettes were tough too, but you know, once I committed to quitting, that was done. Alcohol was kind of a weaning process, I'd say. And eventually, once I started running more and doing exercise and getting into my health, even more so, I had no room for that in my life, and I knew I always wanted to quit it. So, and it just kind of faded away. But, yeah. Some of the seed is broken. These are all in pods. I don't know if you ever had a durian. If you did, they're pods with the little seed, and you eat the pod that's around the seed. But that seed was cracked. A few more pieces left. Now, what was my point I was getting at? Well, the low calories. Thinking I don't need that as many calories sometimes now to do what, you know, many miles of exercise. I just don't think I need that much. I think I've become more efficient throughout the years. I might keep track of that this year to see. For sure. Oh, this video's kind of long, huh? I'm just going to keep talking. What if I didn't want to even watch it? If I keep recording until I'm done with this, it might be a while. It's already at almost 12 minutes. But if you have a good attention span and you don't find me too boring, I don't find me boring, but that's me, you know, maybe I'm biased. I guess I would be or should be, right? Would be. Try not to should myself, right? Now, what else is going on? We got birds outside the window. Check this out. I like to take pictures of them. I have several pictures. I'm gonna reverse this. Let's see if I can zoom in on them. Birds on a wire. No, I've had some real cool pictures of them. Even that'll be a cool picture with the sun out there. Oh, it just flew away. It just flew away. But I've gotten some good pictures of them. On the wire in the morning. A bunch of birds, and sometimes they just jump off. And a lot of animals come and visit my house. And garden. Especially it's like compost and a garden, and where I live in the city, which is just in the city limits of Chicago, a few blocks away, on two sides of us, is forest preserve. So, with that, there's a lot of animals. One time, there's this alley right out there. That's what that window was looking at, where the power lines are. One time there's a deer out in my alley. It's kind of crazy. But all sorts of critters. Raccoons, squirrels, obviously. Birds, all sorts of birds. It's fortunate because I get a lot of good pictures of the birds. I feed the birds too. In the winter. Leave out some seeds. And then I got a mulberry tree. And all the birds come and love that. Oh, there's plenty to share. It's great. And you realize the abundance. And there's mice that come up there. And they mice eat the compost too. Early morning. And it's still dark out. There's you see the mice running up and down the mulberry tree. Then you see the birds come later in the day. And then of course I eat as much as I can. Then the dogs eat whatever, because I have two dogs. The dogs eat what's on the ground sometimes. And it's crazy. And they eat off of it. But the dogs keep most critters at bay, you know. And that's good, because I don't want possums and raccoons all coming in the yard. One time, I think from the smell of compost, Maybe they come in at night when the dogs are inside. I woke up and there was a raccoon on the roof of the neighbor's house, just staring down. Dogs barking at him. Next morning, there was a dog out. It's still dark out in the morning when I get up, and usually my one dog gets up. He runs out there and he's barking. And it was the sort of bark like it knew something was there. You know, I'm hoping not a skunk, and although fortunately there has not been one of those ever that I've seen. I see them in the front yard all the time. Never gotten in my backyard where the dogs go. So I'm yelling at him to come in because, you know, I don't know what could be. And then I'm doing that with the door open. And the other little dog I have, who she's more aggressive. That one, the big one, who's a husky and a shepherd, he's more passive. He's cool. I mean, he was barking at whatever was there, but he was just telling him to get out of here or whatever. The other dog, he bolts out there, goes to attack whatever it is. It was hidden behind this trellis I have in the garden where I grow cucumbers, and I see something black jump over the fence. It's a black cat. Well, black cat is coming here at night, trying to get those mice probably. The mice go in the compost. I haven't seen too many of them or noticed them at all this winter, but like I said, in the summer, the mice go going up and down the mulberry tree. They're cute. I mean, I see them a lot of times just running in and out of the compost. They like, you know, it's good food for them. So, works out for everyone. So I try to grow as much as I can. My city lot's not that big. But, I mean, I'm growing quite a bit of stuff, you know, and more stuff even. This year, more stuff. Last year, more stuff. This year, right along the alley, there's another mulberry tree growing. So that's pretty cool. I'd be happy to have a mulberry. Another mulberry tree. I planted a cherry tree last year. So hopefully I'll get cherries this year. A grapevine last year, which hopefully I'll get grapes this year. I have a fig tree. It's several years old, so that produced pretty good also. I planted 2 pawpaw trees. Pawpaw, you know, you gotta try those. Those are excellent. And they're native to up north there. So that's awesome. And it may take a lot of years, like 7 years they said, till it makes fruit. But maybe I'll make it happen, or nature will make it happen sooner. And one of the trees I got is supposedly 3 years old, and the other one maybe a year. So we'll see what happens. And I have a bunch of seeds, so I'll plant a bunch of those this year. Then I have whatever I plant every year. So it's usually cucumbers, tomatoes. Or I have raspberries. I got the raspberries a couple years back in the winter, and I looked out in the neighbor's garbage and I was like, oh my gosh, he's throwing away a bunch of raspberries towards the end of winter, early spring. Oh, that can't happen, you know. I save plants from garbages. I've done that a lot of times, but especially raspberry plants that are gonna provide raspberries for me. That ain't gonna happen. That's a gift from God to me. And it was. You know, I get raspberries every year. You know, so things work out. Things work out real well. And that's the best food. I appreciate more than anything the food from the land that I grow here, or that's grown, or I can forage around town. That's by far the best. I mean, these winters get tough. So the quality of food sometimes isn't always there. That's why I'm so excited when I get a good durian or a good orange or a good whatever, grapefruit. I mean, whatever. There's difference in quality. I mean, you could tell when you get that quality. It's like, yes, it's like hitting a lottery of sorts. It's like you don't know what you're gonna get. You know, you can sense it. You're like, oh, I think so. You know, I sensed this was going to be a good durian, and it sure was, but when I keep myself really going clean, that becomes more and more so. But who knows? Well, it looks like my brother's over, so I end this short. But I'm down to my last piece anyway. That's it. So, nice having food with you. We'll talk. Talk to you later.